In this video, I'm going to teach you the second part of the ACE formula, which is confidence. Now, I know what you're thinking. Many people will say, oh, all you have to do to be attractive is to be confident. But the reality is no one knows actually what it means to be confident. And also, there is a thing called overconfidence, which is unattractive, and a thing called a lack of confidence or timidness, which is also unattractive. You see, the truth is, true confidence comes from only one thing. And that thing is experience. I always break it down like this. If you remember the first time that you ever drove a car, you were probably pretty nervous driving it. I remember the very first time I went driving, I was in London and I grew up in a bad neighborhood, and accidentally, the first time I got in the car, I hit the accelerator a bit too much, turned left, drove straight across the road and crashed into a Lexus, which was owned by the local drug dealer. So I actually smashed up this guy's car. I felt so bad about it. My mum freaked out. We drove and parked our car around the corner and like 3 blocks over and left it there for like 3 weeks to make sure we didn't get any retaliations. By the way, if you're watching this, buddy, I'm sorry about that. But this is what happens, right? Like, you know, your first time you drive a car, you get nervous, you get worried, you don't know how to do things the correct way, and that lack of knowing what to do creates fear. In fact, technically it creates cortisol in the brain, which creates fear and stress, and therefore you act unconfident. If you want to become confident at anything, you need to collect experience. And the problem is people just don't know how to go about collecting experience, especially when it comes to their dating life. And people do all these weird things. I remember back in like 2003 when the book The Game came out by Neil Strauss, people try to get experience by running out on streets, approaching random strangers and talking to them and going to bars. And this was great for a while. The problem is it was also a bit weird and creepy. Some people didn't like doing it, which meant that wasn't really a solution for them. And a whole bunch of other people became overconfident, went out there and did all these weird things that actually bordered on harassment. And in fact, there have been many people that have used those techniques that have found themselves at the wrong end of a sentence from court because they literally were accused of harassing people. And it really isn't the best way to go about meeting and talking to new people. Now, there are some people that try and get confident with online dating. They'll use, Tinder or Bumble or one of these apps, and they'll be messaging people, and they'll believe they're getting confidence. But when you go out on the date, you still have that problem. You're struggling to talk to somebody because you don't have experience at actual dating. Now, the real key to confidence is to have somebody step by step break down very simple, normal, natural things you can do to help you build up confidence for hanging out with the kind of people that you'd naturally be attracted to. If you can build up confidence in this way, slowly and over time with somebody guiding you through what to do to make sure that you don't have failure, then you become experienced at success and it becomes so much easier for you to succeed. So when someone says to you, all you have to do is be more confident, they're not wrong. It's just you've got to learn how to get that confidence. And the easiest way to do it is with somebody else. Now, a lot of people are very lucky. They'll grow up and they'll have like an older brother that will talk to them and explain to them things and show them what to do. And they'll pick up the experience that way. And then there are other people that were naturally lucky. They grew up in a household with, maybe older women as their sisters, or, maybe their mum had a lot of women friends, and they'll start to pick it up naturally. And then there are some people that they'll, through their school and their colleges, they'll have these great experiences which help them build up that confidence naturally. But if you found yourself at the wrong side of like 22, 23, or maybe even older, the wrong side of 30 in some cases, and you haven't had any good experiences yet, then you might find yourself in a situation where you're timid. And timidness is very unattractive, not just to women, but to people. If you imagine hanging out with somebody and you're spending time with them and they're constantly looking around nervously and they're not really sure what they're doing, it will put you on edge because human beings feed off each other's energy. A lot of us, we like to think of ourselves as the #1 predator on the planet. And while that's true, I've mentioned this before, we're also herd animals. We react very well to other human beings. And if every other human being around you is calm, then it's easy to stay calm. But if every human being around you is stressed or worried or nervous, then we pick up on that energy and it makes us feel stressed, worried, and nervous. And then that makes you not want to hang out with those people. And that is why timidness or fear or feeling uncomfortable is an unattractive quality that you really have to kill. On the other hand, you've got this overconfidence where people aren't feeling confident, so they try to show off and act more confident. And this is unattractive because it creates a scenario where someone basically wants you to fail. A good example that I tell people when it comes to confidence is just listen to the way you're saying something. Let's just say I'm flipping a coin. And if I say to you, I'm going to flip this coin and it's going to be heads. instantly you're like, that's not true. You don't know that. I'm not being real, I'm not being honest, I'm not being true, I'm being overconfident. And in that scenario, that's unattractive. You're going to be like, well, I want it to be tails. I want you to fail. And when you act overconfident with somebody that you're attracted to, you're actually creating a conflict situation which isn't very attractive. They want you to fail, they want to see you fail. And you often see this in people that have been in relationships for a while, and maybe you've seen this too. You're dating somebody and at the beginning of the relationship it was great, but later on you sort of feel like your partner is against you and they're fighting against you and you don't know why. And then that makes you want to like prove more, and you fight more and like try and prove how great you are. And that's what's happening. You're becoming overconfident and they're resenting you for that overconfidence. You see, people in general don't like people being overconfident. They like truth, they like reality, they like honesty. This is what is attractive. And so true confidence goes down a different line, which we'll talk about in a minute, so I'll be able to help you do that. But timidness, on the other hand, because if I was going to flip a coin and I had somebody who was timid, they would say, well, I don't know what it's going to be. There's no way to know. It's impossible. I can't possibly know which one of these things it's going to be. And that's unattractive too, because you're not playing the game. You're not joining it in. Someone who's truly confident will say, you know what? I believe it's going to be heads. Obviously, I can't guarantee it, but I'm pretty sure it's going to be heads. If I had to call it, I'm going to go with that. Now, in this situation, that's somebody who's confident. They're making a decision. They're being open to the fact that that decision might not be right, but it doesn't matter, they're playing the game anyway. And this is what it means to truly show confidence when you're out and about and you're dealing with people. Now, what's fascinating about this is you'll often see people fail at confidence when it comes to attracting somebody. They'll go for someone they feel they're going to get. You might find yourself talking to someone and be like, well, this person's on my level, I'm going to go for them. That means that you don't believe in your heart of hearts that you can get somebody who you're actually attracted to. And that is a lack of confidence. In that situation, you're going to end up with the person that you have the confidence to actually talk to and be real with. Which is fascinating, because if you could just develop that confidence to be real with somebody who was more attractive, then you'd actually end up in a relationship with that person that you were more attracted to. And the thing about this is to realize that attraction is subjective. What you think of as beautiful may not be the same as what somebody else thinks. Meaning, even though you might think somebody's a higher level than you, they may not believe that. And so your chance of success is actually significantly based on your ability to be confident enough to just try and see what happens. You owe it to yourself to try and talk to the people that you're most attracted to. And if you are struggling with confidence, and if that's something that holds you back, then it can pay to have someone like myself or our team or what have you, break down step by step simple motions you can take to make this so much easier. One of the things that I'll have people do is before they even start talking to somebody, I'll have them sit down in an environment and just observe people. And I'll have them write down what they would say if they were going to talk to somebody. Now, what's great about this is it gives you all the practice of thinking about what to say with none of the pressure. It doesn't matter if you think about the right thing or you say the wrong thing, because there's no real impact. But it gets your brain thinking about the kind of things you could say. And if you can make that a habit where you're used to doing that, then it's only a matter of time before curiosity kicks in and your brain's like, well, maybe we should test this. Maybe we should see what happens. Now, in the ACE Formula program, which is what this whole video series is about promoting this, we actually break down in a number of video trainings and instructor-based trainings, and even live trainings are available, where we go through this step by step and help somebody develop these things. And if you feel that confidence is one of your weaknesses, then you're definitely going to want to make sure that you watch the rest of this video series, because not only are we going to talk about how you can gain access to the full ACE Formula, and I have my team, myself, go through and guide you through this, but you're also going to learn one of the most important lessons, which we're going to be sharing with you in the next video, which is the power of escalation. And what's fascinating to me is there are people that say that they're afraid of approaching. There are people that say they don't know what to say. There are people that say they don't know how to text somebody. But the reality is, in all these situations, I find that most students never admit what the real issue is. And the real issue is they don't know how to get someone aroused. When you arouse somebody, when you get somebody so turned on that they crave you, a lot of the other lessons just make a lot more sense and become easier. If I'm talking to somebody who is sexually interested in me, a lot of my mistakes will be forgiven. If I look shy or nervous, it's okay, because they're kind of shy and nervous as well, because we're getting more intimate together. The whole thing, it's like the glue that holds it all together, and it's the one thing no one ever talks about. You can find programs that talk about analyzing body language. You can find programs that talk about how to text your ex. You can find programs that talk about how to be a man. But you don't really find programs that talk about how to arouse somebody, how to escalate to get them turned on. And one of the last lessons in the ACE formula is escalation, where we break down exactly how to get somebody turned on and craving you. And what's funny is because we live in a world right now where you need consent, and this is something that's, we've always needed it, it's just some people have ignored it. And what blows me away is I've been teaching consent for a long time because I much prefer being with a woman who not only wants me, but who's begging for me. Someone who tells me, I want you. I can't wait to have you naked. That is what I want. And so in escalation, we teach people exactly how to do that. It's probably one of the most powerful parts of the ACE formula, and it's something we'll be teaching in the very next video. So do not miss out on that video because I promise you it's going to really open your mind to what you really need to be doing if you want to be creating attraction, being attractive, and having other people chase you. So make sure you watch out for that. Make sure you do not miss that video. And you may even be able to find a link that you can click on this very page that will become active when that video is available. So make sure you click on that video, watch that, and learn how to do it. And I hope you continue to enjoy learning even more about the ACE formula.